From the Jamaican perspective, you have different procurement policies and laws. You have different means of going through processes. And then to understand, one of the points that was made earlier in the presentation is to understand and get the support of the MDAs, ministries, departments, agencies, because the unit, the privatization agency / PPP unit at DBJ acts as advisors and as well as project developers to understand the needs and understand the objectives of this PPP or of a transaction. You need an agency to ensure that the focus and the objectives of the government are achieved.
Deputy Prime Minister, given the success you've had, why does the government feel the need to take this step of establishing that framework?
There's always this need to ensure that the process, even though we call it fair, that there's a balance between what I call our small, medium, large businesses, contractors, and our providers, and that is not done in a way that your small, medium providers are unable to graduate to becoming large. We have that challenge here because you will have the larger providers having the capacity to become a partner, and that may not leave access to your smaller providers becoming a part of it.
What we're seeing in North America is a tremendous growth in PPPs overall, and actually South America is starting to pick up some steam as well. So the challenge that we have as a developer when looking at opportunities is where are we most likely going to have fair and open competition, have well-defined projects to pursue, where do we see strong political will, like all the success factors that we've heard about this morning to actually make those deals occur. Mm-hmm. I think the challenge in this area is there isn't enough critical mass to create a significant deal pipeline to perhaps justify a number of agencies. So perhaps the question, the way to solve it is probably there's a couple of potential ones. One is if you're only going to do a project every 4 years, maybe there's an opportunity to create a cooperative PPP agency for the region. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure how that would come together, but certainly if we were looking at investing in a project today here, we would need to assess that relative to those other opportunities. So you've got to find some way to create interest to bring us to make the projects attractive to us.
You would have to have a point person or two in the government, sure, that whoever the regional group is can refer to those people to get things to happen. If things only happen with somebody, it's on top of them to go forward. Now, I don't share Mike's view that the independent 3P body is going to be, independent 3P body is going to be any more efficient, any more equal, any more infallible in respect of procurement than a government body.
I do think that, I think just in support of what Mike said, is that if it's difficult to create an agency on an island-by-island basis, which I would understand, it's a critical mass that's probably not sufficient. It's a similar situation that's facing our municipalities and cities where their deal flow isn't sufficient, but they recognize they need the expertise in order to get themselves a good deal and to balance the expertise that comes from the private sector. And so they do look to outside agencies. In that case, they're quite close in geography. They look to the provincial agencies and the advisors to inform them. And there's certainly a well-established advisory community globally that has good insight into developing PPP programs and particularly projects. So I think that if it could be done politically to develop an overall framework where you could provide that consistency of documentation and expectation, and whether it be done through an agency that represented all of the Caribbeans and you could draw upon that, or you draw upon other global standards in order to help get there. Both, I think, would be solutions, and both would be to address Mike's concern about making sure that you could draw in and have a high degree of probability to be able to close the deal.